Hello, welcome to Serenity Sounds. How can I be of service today? Well, if you're looking for music, you've obviously come to the right place. We have quite a selection. We carry both classic artists and small independent artists that you might not have heard of, but that are excellent to listen to just the same. Do you know what type of music you're looking for? We carry CDs. We have a wide selection of cassette tapes. We have a small selection of 8-track tapes. We don't have as many of these because they are kind of hard to find. All of our music is, of course, secondhand in the store, but if you want something new, we can order it for you. However, 8-track tapes are going to be used because they're not readily producing new 8-track tapes anymore, so that's something to think about with those. And then, of course, we offer vinyl, so that's always a popular choice. It's kind of nice that vinyl has come back into fashion because it really does have a better sound, and now that it's back in fashion, we can order pretty much anything on vinyl. You can find both old and new music on vinyl now, so that makes it very convenient. What particular format were you interested in? The vinyl? Yeah, I thought so. That's what most people are interested in when they come into our shop. A lot of people are either going to listen to, digital music or vinyl, so usually when they come into a music shop, they're looking for the vinyl, so of course we keep a lot of vinyl on hand. What particular genres were you interested in? Children's and classic rock? Okay, that's interesting combination, but I think we can help you out in both areas there. Let me just run to the back room, grab some of our children's and classic rock albums, and I will bring those back out here and go through a few of them with you, and you can pick out what you'd like to take home, okay? And again, all of our albums are used in the store here, but if you want something new, most things we can order new for you. And we do get a discount. Being a record store, we do get a discount, which we then pass on to you. So if you want to get them for a little less, it is beneficial to order it through us rather than just trying to get it straight off the internet yourself. So that's something to think about as well. But obviously our used albums are priced accordingly. The better shape they're in, the more they cost, obviously, but any album that's not quite up to par is reflected in the price, so you don't have to worry about paying, too much for an album that's scratched. We have accounted for that and lowered the prices accordingly on any album that's not up to our high standards. So let me just run back and grab some albums, and I'll see you back here in a minute, okay? Okay, now we don't carry a lot of children's albums because they're not as popular, so we don't keep a lot of them on hand, and when people come to trade albums, because we do album trades as well, you can bring in your old albums and get credit for other albums in the store, kind of the same arrangement that comic book stores have. You bring in your old comics and get credit toward newer comics, so we do that with albums as well. But we don't get a lot of children's albums in just because a lot of times they're beaten to death. Kids have a tendency to play the albums over and over again, and the parents usually aren't as concerned about those albums because they're not their own, so they're not really quite as gentle with them as they would be, say, with their own albums. So we don't always get a lot of children's albums in, and we generally don't order that many to keep in the store because they're not as common. So we only have a few children's albums, but hopefully one of them will strike your fancy. So the first one I want to show you is the Chipmunks album. There's a lot of classic songs on this album. Just things like When the Saints Go Marching In, Big Rock Candy Mountain, Row, Row, Row Your Boat, I've Been Working on the Railroad. You want to stay away from the Chipmunks? You find them kind of irritating? Okay, yeah, that's understandable. Some people really like the Chipmunks albums because they have kind of that nostalgia value, but no, that's understandable. A little too much of the Chipmunks can get, drive you mad a little bit, so we'll try something else. Now this is the Cinderella movie soundtrack. This album was released in 1963, so it was not actually released the same year as the movie, but this does have all the songs from the original motion picture soundtrack. It's got the A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes, the Sing Sweet Nightingale, the song that they do while they're working, and some of them are of course sung by the mice, and then there's Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, which is of course probably the most well-known song from Cinderella. So it's got all the classics, and this one, as you can see, the cover is in excellent condition. This album was actually very well taken care of. There are almost no scratches on this album, so it's in excellent condition. If you're a fan of Cinderella, this might be one that you'd want to think about. You would like that one. Okay, I'll just set this one right here then, and we'll check that out for you in a little bit. Would you like to look at more children's albums, or are you good with that one? You're good with that one? Okay, time to move on to the classic rock then. All right, and what eras of classic rock were you interested in? 60s and 70s? Yes, those are my favorite eras of classic rock as well. I often say that if it was released before I was born, I'd probably love it. So let me run back and grab some classic rock albums, and then I'll bring those back out here, and you can pick out what you like, okay? So we'll start with a classic that everybody knows. This is, of course, the Beatles' Abbey Road, and it has that extremely recognizable album cover that has been parodied so many times it's hard to keep count, but this is an excellent album. This is not in the best shape. The cover is getting a little bit torn, and there are a few scratches on the album itself, but again, that is reflected in the price. This one has some great songs on it. Abbey Road is it's a famous album for a reason. It has Come Together, Maxwell's Silver Hammer, Oh Darling, Octopus's Garden, which is of course a little weird but a lot of fun. Here Comes the Sun, which is just one of the most beautiful songs there is. Just so many great ones. Carry That Weight, and of course there's even more on the album, but it's just got a lot of really great Beatles songs. So if you're into the Beatles, that's one to consider. That's a maybe. Okay, stick that one over there. So the next one is The Doors, and it's a self-titled album called, of course, The Doors, and this is a really good album. It's in definitely less than prime condition. As you can see, the cover is definitely beat up, and the album does have some scratches on it, so this one's not in the best condition, but again, it's a fabulous album. It's got Break On Through, The Crystal Ships, Alabama Song, Light My Fire, and then of course it has The End, which is I think that's like an 11-minute song, so it's a very long song, but it's really an interesting song, and kind of takes you into some very dark places, so it's a good album for listening to at night, if you're interested in that. Just set that one over there. Alright, so this next one is The Fifth Dimension, and this is The Age of Aquarius. This is unarguably their most famous album, and it's kind of cool. The inside, when you open it up, it's got a nice picture of the band there, and on the bottom here it actually has the birth dates of all the members. So you can see that Florence and Ron are actually Aquarius births. So that's kind of just a fun feature of the album itself. This album is in pretty good condition. There's not a lot of wear on the cover, a little bit around the edges, and there are very few scratches on the actual record itself. The record is not warped at all. It was a really good quality pressing, so it was good plastic, and it's still perfectly flat, so you won't need to put a penny on your record player to make this one play. And of course, the most famous song in here is The Age of Aquarius. You know, this is the dawning of the Age of Aquarius, but it has a lot of other good ones on here too, and the Fifth Dimension had a really great sound, so it's a really fun album to listen to, so it's one to think about. Next one is Three Dog Night, and this one is suitable for framing, which I think is just a really cute title. I've always liked the title of this album. And this one has some really good songs on it. It's got Feeling Alright, Ain't That a Lot of Love, A Change Is Gonna Come, and of course, Eli's Coming, which is one of my personal favorite Three Dog Night songs. Just got such a great sound. The album cover on this one is worn. It looks like whoever previously owned it had it shuffling in back and forth a lot among their record collection, so the album is worn, but the album itself is actually in really good shape. There's no scratches or warping on the album at all, so it's definitely an excellent album, quality-wise. And if you like, album cover, I've always loved the back image of this album because everybody in their, their striped bell bottoms and their vests. It's just a very classic 70s picture. So I've always liked the album cover of this album, and of course the excellent music. So you think you would like that one? Okay, I'll put this down here in your to-buy pile. We also have another Three Dog Night album, Harmony. Would you be interested in that one as well? That one has Old-Fashioned Love Song, Murder in My Heart for the Judge, Never Been to Spain. That's a great song if you've never heard that one. Never Dreamed You'd Leave in Summer, Peace of Mind, You, Family of Man, My Impersonal Life, and Jam. So it's another really good album. This one is the same as the other. The album itself is an excellent quality, but the cover seems to have been rubbed against a lot. I'm guessing whoever had these albums stored their Three Dog Night someplace that was a little tight, so there's a little bit of wear and tear on the covers, but the albums themselves are in great condition. You'd like that one as well. Okay, put that one right there. Next up, we have a Supertramp album, and this is Breakfast in America. And Breakfast in America is a fabulous song in its own right, and it's also a really good album because it's got a lot of their best songs on it. It's got The Logical Song and Goodbye Stranger, Take the Long Way Home. It's just got a lot of really, really good songs on it. This album is not in the best shape. There are some scratches on this album. The cover is actually kind of misleading as far as the album, because the album cover, I think, is actually in better shape than the album. There's only a little bit of wear and tear on the cover, and the album itself is kind of in bad shape, but it's still a great album to listen to, so you just might need that penny on the record player to keep it from skipping. So next up, we have an Aerosmith album, and you already own all the Aerosmith albums on vinyl? Okay, then I guess you're probably not going to want this one. You already have it in your collection, sounds like. Next up, we have Grand Funk Railroad, and this is a nice album. It's got some of the inner cover art. That's the band at Madison Square Garden. This is the Closer to Home album, and this one has I'm Your Captain on it, which is a great song in itself, and it's also got Aimless Lady, which is a nice song. Hooked on Love is a very good song to listen to, and it's got several other really nice songs. This one's kind of like the Three Dog Night albums. The cover is not in the greatest condition. It's a little bit worn from being rubbed against, but the album itself is nice and flat and no scratches on it, so that's one to consider. Okay, up next we have a serious classic. This is the album Tommy by The Who. This is, of course, known as the rock opera Tommy. And this is it's really an amazing album. There are just so many good songs on this album. Can't even name them all. There's Pinball Wizard. There's so many great songs on this album. And it's kind of like a story as it takes you through the album. So it's a really fun album. The cover's not in bad shape. There's a little bit of tearing here on the spine, and then there's a little bit, again, of scraping damage on the front, and of course you can see the outline of the record on the back where it's been, squished up a little bit over the years, but all in all it's in pretty good shape, so that's one to consider. Next up we have Zeppelin IV, which is, well, technically I guess it's untitled, but it's generally referred to as Zeppelin IV, and this is arguably one of their best albums, because it's certainly one of their most famous, because it has Stairway to Heaven on it, which I don't think anyone's going to deny that is definitely Zeppelin's most famous song. So, but it's got a lot of other good songs on it too. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan at all, there's several Lord of the Rings Hobbit-inspired songs. Misty Mountain Hop, Battle of Evermore, which is actually one of my favorite Zeppelin songs, is Battle of Evermore. It's just got a really ethereal sound to it, I guess you would say, so that's always a good song. And of course it's got kind of the long cover feature here. You open it up and it's got the design of the hermit with this little lantern in there. I think my sister actually has a poster of that, so it's nice artwork on the album as well. Cover in the usual scrape shape here, where it's been scraped a little bit, but the album itself is in excellent condition, almost totally flat, no scratches, so that's a good one if you're a Zeppelin fan. If you're an Animals fan, this is Animalism, and this is kind of a fun one because it's an album of non-animal songs. These are a bunch of different covers on here, so it makes for a very interesting album to hear the Animals doing some of these other songs. Like it's got Shake, it's got The Other Side of This Life, Rock Me Baby, and everybody knows that song. Lucille, that's a very famous song. Smokestack Lightning, that was made famous by Howlin' Wolf, so it's kind of fun listening to the Animals do that one. Also has Louisiana Blues, which is actually one of my favorite Muddy Waters songs, is Louisiana Blues. So I'm a huge fan of Muddy Waters and the Animals, so I like getting to hear the Animals do one of my favorite Muddy songs as well. So if you're a fellow Animals fan and also like the old blues songs, this is just a really fun one to hear the Animals doing all these other songs. So that's one to think about. The album cover itself is in pretty rough shape. It's torn on the edges and it's peeling off here, but the album cover, or the album itself, is flat, but it does have quite a few scratches on it, so this one's not the best in shape album, but it's probably one that you're not going to see a lot of other places, so that's a fun one. Next up we have Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and this is a triple album. As you can see, each section has the E, L, and P, which is of course for the Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And this has Carnival number 9, which is probably ELP's most famous song, so that one is on here. And there's a lot of other great songs on here. There's Hoedown, there's Take a Pebble, you know, there's some really good selections. It is a triple album, so again, lots of listening, but I mean, let's face it, Carnival No. 9 takes up most of the triple album because it's a song that goes on for quite a while, but you know, it's a lot of fun. It's a really fun song, and it's a really fun album. All three of the records are in good shape. The cover, not quite as much, a little bit of scrape damage, but not as much as some of the other ones, mostly just right around the record area. You can see where the record outline is there, you know, so that's where most of the damage is situated on the cover, but the records themselves are in pretty good shape, so that's one to consider. Next up, we have Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young on this one. You know, occasionally it's just Crosby, Stills, and Nash, but this is the Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. And this is a really great album because this one has a lot of really good songs on it. I do like it when all four of them are together. They just have such fabulous harmony that you don't hear a lot of other places. So Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young were really a great band, and this one's got, you know, Wooden Ships and Teach Your Children. It's got Ohio, Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, which is just, oh, it's so hard not to move when you listen to that song because that's a great song. And then, of course, Woodstock, which I'm sure you probably know is actually a Joni Mitchell song, but I think Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young have the most recognized version of it, and probably the more popular version of it. Joni's was great, but there's just something about the harmony of Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young that really bring it to life, and I'm sure that came about somehow because of the fact that Crosby dated Joni for a while, so that's probably has something to do with why they covered Woodstock. So, but that is on here, so this is an excellent Crosby, Stills, and Nash album. You're interested in that as well? Okay. And then next up we have Springsteen. This is Bruce Springsteen's first album, Greetings from Asbury Park, and this is a really great album. It didn't do as well as some of the albums that followed. This was just his debut album, but it's really got some great songs on it. I mean, this is almost like a greatest hits album when you go through it. You know, it's got Blinded by the Light, Growing Up, Lost in the Flood. That song's not as well known, but it's actually one of my favorites. I think it's a really underrated song. I really love that one. And of course, it's got Spirit in the Night, Mary Queen of Arkansas, It's Hard to Be a Saint in the City. You know, it's a really fabulous album, and the album art is kind of fun because, of course, you got the New Jersey postcard on the front, and then when you open it up, you got the credits over here, and then the address is Asbury Park, and the stamp is even a picture of Bruce. So the album art is kind of fun. A little bit of scraping on the cover, but overall in pretty good shape. There's not a lot of peeling on it. The album itself, let's see, it's one of those that you have to open it up to pull the album out, but the album itself is flat, not a lot of scratches, so it's in really good shape, and again, it's just a great album. You're interested in that one? Okay, we'll put that over there. You're interested in more Bruce albums? Yeah, we actually have several Bruce albums. So this next one is actually, might as well go in order here, right? This is his second album. This is The Wild, the Innocent, and the E Street Shuffle. Again, like his first album, this one didn't do as well as some of the following albums, but it does have some excellent songs on it. It, of course, has the E Street Shuffle. Kitty's Back is always a great song, and Rosalita, that is, I think my father and godfather make a banner to try and request that song at every concert they're at, which is pretty much every concert on the East Coast. So yeah, that's always an excellent song to listen to. It really gets you moving. And again, the album's in excellent shape. This one really doesn't have too much scraping damage on the album cover either, and the album itself is, I won't say mint, but pretty close. This one was very well taken care of. There's no scratches, it's not warped at all, so it's in really good shape. You'd like that one as well? Okay. And then, so while his first two albums didn't do as well as he probably would have liked, when he put out this one, it definitely propelled him to stardom. Born to Run, obviously a very famous album, definitely made Bruce Springsteen a household name. So this is a great album. Flip it around here so you can see the Bruce and the Clarence, because that's I just really like that picture. They just look like they're having such a great time. So this is obviously an excellent album. You got your Thunder Road, 10th Avenue Freeze Out, you got your Backstreets, you got Born to Run, you've got Night, Meeting Across the River, and Jungle Land. So this album is definitely deserving of all the praise it gets, because it is an excellent album. Let's face it, Bruce Springsteen has never had an album that isn't excellent, but you know, this is an excellent album among excellent albums. So are you interested in the Born to Run as well? You are? Okay. So that is all the Bruce we have on vinyl. We do have quite a bit more Bruce on CD and cassette if you're interested, and I think we might have one 8-track of Bruce if you're interested in that. Just the vinyl? Okay, so you've got all 3 of our Bruce vinyl for now. We do, of course, get more in periodically, so feel free to come back and check for some more. But for now, you do have all of our Bruce vinyl. Would you like to see any more artists, or are you ready to check out? You're ready to check out? Okay, well then why don't you just meet me up at the front desk, and we will get your albums checked out. Were there any of the other albums that I showed you that you were interested in? Just the ones that you had named? Okay, well then I'll see you at the front desk and we'll get you checked out, okay? Okay, see you there. So have you been with us before? Well, if you have, I can just pull up your account. You have not. Okay, let me open up a new page here. Okay, what is your first name? Okay, well, I can set you up with an account in our system, and that way we'll record all of your purchases so that you can remember what you bought and how much it was and the date that you bought it, if that's important to you or anything. And what this also does is when we get in new products that we think you might like, so for example, if somebody comes in and trades their vast collection of Bruce, that's going to pop you up in our system, and you will get an email notification that we just got some new Bruce in, or you know, anything else that I can set up, anything that you might like to be notified about. Okay. All right, we'll set up your account then. What is your name? Okay, last name. And what is your email address? And what is your address? Yeah, street and zip code. Okay. I'm going to assume you live in this state. And preferred phone number. What is your preferred method of notification? So if we do get in another shipment of something that you might be interested in, would you prefer to be notified by phone, text message, email? Okay. Yeah, you can choose more than one in case you're worried that you miss it somewhere. And what might you like to be notified for? Again, some of these will be automatic because you just bought 3 Bruce albums, You're automatically going to pop up when we get more Bruce in, but what else would you like to be notified of? Okay, Bruce, more children's, and Grateful Dead. Okay, yeah, that's actually a really good one to get notifications on, because we have found we really can't keep Grateful Dead records in the store. Like, as soon as we get them in, if we post on Facebook that we have Grateful Dead albums in the store, people descend on the record shop like a swarm of locusts, and they're usually gone within an hour or two. So that's actually good to get those notifications. Do you want to put that one for text so that you get it as soon as possible? You do? Okay. Yeah, those Grateful Dead albums are highly sought after, so dead vinyl does not stay long in the store. Okay, so let me just check out how we'd be paying for your albums today. Credit card? Okay. Let me just run that through a number. Okay, so we have Born to Run. We have The Wild, the Innocent, and the E Street Shuffle. We have the Greetings from Asbury Park, one of my personal faves. We have the Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, So Far. We have the Three Dog Night Harmony. We have the Three Dog Night Suitable for Framing. You'd like to be notified when we get more Three Dog Night in as well? Alright, 1 second. Let me just go back to the notifications here. And do you want that just by email, since those usually aren't quite as sought after as the Grateful Dead? You don't have to get here quite as early in the morning with those. Email's fine. Okay. And then, of course, we have the Cinderella soundtrack album. I'll just finish up processing the order here. Okay, looks like your notifications are all set. You are all checked out and ready to go. You can take your albums with you, and I hope you have a nice day listening to your new old music. How's that? So take those and enjoy them, and I hope you have a great time with them. And please come back soon, because we get new merchandise in about every 2 weeks, so please come visit us again. Have a good day.